rata go fitšhetša tša go ba tša temo le tlhametse selegae ka ge le gore ke graduate le gona ke tla kgopela gore ke fiwe title deed ya lefelo leo ke šomelang go lona ke tla kgopela gape le thušo ya tša mašeleng mmogo le gore lefelo leo le direlwe legora ke a leboga.
Nkomo loyi a nga yima lani wana I tata Charles Mamita va huma le ka ana Magale wa 6 naswona va huma ndawulo ya timhaka ta nhluvukiso wa matikoxikaya vurimi na leti fambisanaka na swona. Xo sungula ndzi munhu loyi a nga thwasa eYunivhesiti ni thwasela timhaka ta vurimi ni kombela leswaku mfumo wu hi pfuna hi nseketelo wa swa vurimi lowu kongomaka eka timhaka to ti-process leti kambelaka misava timhaka ta tiboholi leti ta ku borha mati lama hi nga ta xeweta hi wona timhaka ta ndhawu leyi hi nga ta rima ka yona na hinkwaswo leswi swi khumbaka vurimi hi kombela mfumo wu hi pfuna wu nga hi tsan'wi. Inkomu.
Enhlekani loyi a yima haleno I Tivoni Chauke wa ward 19 ku nga ward leyi mi hosaka namuntlha. Ni seketela pfhumba leri ra nawu lowu kumbe bili leyi ku va namuntlha mi karhi mi endle public participation ehenhla ka yona. Ni na ntshemba ku ri n'wana na un'wana wa karhi wa swi vona ku ri namuntlha laha hulweni ku tale vakhegula na vakhalabye. Leswi xikombiso lexikulu leswaku ka ha ri na ntsomba in terms of capacity building eka vantshwa va hina. Agriculture yi nave ngopfu. Agriculture a hi ku byala mavele na matsavu ntsena eka land na mhaka ya swifuwo swi kona. Hikokwalaho namuntlha ni vulavulaka hi capacity building ya lavantshwa. Vantshwa va capacitatiwa hi dyondzo. Dyondzo leyi hi sungulaka na yoho eswikolweni. Hi sungulaka etipurayimari. Khale loko na ha nghena xikolo a hi dyondza agriculture hi sungula na yoho exikolweni. U tiva ku byala ximilani kumbe u tiva ku byala matsavu na murhi wa muhandu wa ha ri n'wana wa le primary leswaku u ta kota ku ti hanyisa u tlhela u kota ku hanyisa na ndyangu at large. Hikwalaho ni kombela ku mfumo wu ya kambisisa mhaka leyi ku ri agriculture a yi tlheleli back eswikolweni na ku va na ti-higher institutions leti dyondzisaka vana loko a pase grade 12 hi mhaka ya agriculture ku nga ri mhaka ya ku byala swimilana ntsena. Swi tele leswi nga dyondziwaka ka ti-higher institution hi mhaka ya agriculture. Yi tlhela yi lavisisa tindhawu leti ti fanelaka ku dyondza tidyondzo leti. Ni nga vulavula hi masipala wa hina wa Greater Tzaneen ku nga paradise ya agriculture ku ri na yoho ya deserve ku va yi tiseriwa higher institution yi ta yisa timhaka ta agriculture emahlweni. Inkomu.
Thank you so much. This is Ms. Chauke speaking from Ward 19. Up front, I want to indicate my support for the bill. I want to also appreciate the effort and activities done by the committee to run the public hearings on this matter. Well, thank you so much. Here in the hall, everyone can see that the hall is full with older people. And this is a clear indication that older people are the ones who are only interested in farming, and the youth and the young ones are not interested in this matter. So on this regard, I want to emphasize the issue of education and capacitation when it comes to agriculture. I want our government to pay much more effort on the issue of making youth more interested in agriculture. I want to cite a situation that we had back then on the education system. We started as young people in the primary school doing agriculture. We grew up with knowledge of agriculture. We loved agriculture because as a young child, I will know how to plant the seed, and I will know that in the end, I will eat from that seed. In so saying, I want to encourage and request the government system to revert back to the old education system, specifically when it comes to agriculture, because that was useful. I want to also emphasize and make everyone here understand that agriculture is not only limited to farming. We have got livestock, which is part of agriculture. So we need to make everyone understand that agriculture is not only limited to maize farming as we do here in our communities. So in so saying, I hereby invite the committee to emphasize that we need a higher institution that will focus on agriculture in our area. Thank you.
Chair, Lina la ka ke Tivoni Chauke ke tswa ko Ward 19 me ke rata go tlhalosa gore ke thega molao ka kanyawo me ke leboge le parliamentary e tlile public participation go ba poledišano le setšhaba me ke kgolwa gore ka moka ra bona gore ka mogolo ka mo go tletše batsofe me ge seo se a bontšha gore go hlokega thuto mo go baswa mabapi le tša temo me se seng ke ratang go seletša ke gore temo ga e felele go bjaleng ga mabele fela upea go na le tše dintšhi tšeo e leng gore motho a ka ithuta tšona mabapi le tša temo me baswa ba rena ba hloka gore ba rutwe mabapi le tša temo me go swanetše go dirwe ka mokgwa o e leng gore go be go dirwa ka gona malobeng mo e leng gore bana ba rutwa ka tša temo go tloga kua fase ba sa le primary me go tloga go na le tlhokego ya gore tše tša temo go tšwelwe pele ka tšona go fihla ko maemong a godimo a tša thuto me tša temo ke tšeo e leng gore ga di felele mo goreng wena o a iphepa fela upea o tshwanetše o kgone gape le go ka fepa setšhaba ke a leboga.
Good afternoon. My name is Nkowankowa. I'm from Ward 19 and the Chosen Farm. As a youth, we're having challenges because we don't have a strong support system as farmers. I'm just going to give an example about me. I'm a qualified artisan, but after I finished graduating, I fell in love in farming, and I could see the challenges that our country is having. Then, because at home there's a farm and water, everything is there, I started to do farming. I went to training about farming and poultry, but because of the challenges that youth is facing today, it becomes difficult for us to grow our farms. You find that we're just using a small scale every time. To go forward, it becomes hard. So I will ask the government to please help young people, because sometimes we feel like we can quit because we don't have a strong support system. I thank you.
Nkomo le avula go etinyo kumshwane le awumaka like Ward 19 ni lava ku tshikelela ngopfu mhaka ya vantshwa kuna vumbhoni byikulu kumba ngopfu ku vantshwa va le ku hluphekeni naswona a va seketeriwi loko swi ta eka timhaka ya swa vurimi lava ku nyika xikombiso hi mina ni graduate-ini eka tidyondzo ta le henhla ni va artisan kambe sweswi ni ti hanyisa hi mhaka ya vurimi loko ni ta va ni hluphekile ka ndzhaku ka nkarhi lowu nga hundza ni langutile ekaya ku na pasi ku na mati yo cheleta naswona nseketelo wu kona hi mhaka ya sweswo ni tikume ni sungule vurimi naswona sweswiwani ni rhandza ngopfu vurimi swi nga leswiwani ni lava ku ri mfumo wu kombela hi vuyelela ku ri a wu seketeli vantshwa hi mhaka ya vurimi. Inkosi.
Ke dumedishe, leina la ka ke Nkowankowa, ke tswa ko Ward 19, mme ke tla rata go tlhalosa gore ba tloga ba na le ditlhotlho tse digolo, mme ke boe gape ke tlhalose gore nna ke artisan ke thuto eo e leng gore ke yetse sekolong ebile ke feletse ke ba le lerato mo go tša temo, mme ka gae go na le polase. Me ke ile ka felletša e le gore ke dira training ke itela tšona tše tša bolemi, mme re na le mathata a gore re ka tšwetša pele goba go godiša tša rena tša temo ka ge e le gore re felletša fela re le gona mo go tšweletšweng ga di tšweletšwa tše nnyane, ga re kgone go ka gola. Jwale mathata ke ona a gore ga rena thekgo, ga re hwetše thekgo, mme nako e nngwe re feletša re tekwa gore awa re ka feletša re tlogela tše tša bolemi ka ge re sa hwetše thekgo, mme ge kgopelo ya ka ke gore mmušo o re thekge. Ke a leboga.
Thobela, ke tla šomiša Sepedi ka šomiša le Sekgowa. Yeah, I'll use English and Sepedi. Firstly, my name is Michael. My surname is Oba. I'm from Makgoba's Kloof, up the mountain, R71. I'm representing South African Communist Party as a district executive committee member responsible for land, but I'll also touch on issues that are happening around the valley in Makgoba's Kloof. First thing, I will appeal to this committee with requests. I would like to invite this committee, Makgoba's Kloof. I would like to invite this committee, and I'm not saying Makgoba special. It is because we have a land which was given to the Makgoba people as early as when the Land Restitution Act was actually promulgated. We were the second community in South Africa to receive land. But for the Makgoba people, it's not yet Uhuru. I discussed at one stage in the conferences in Johannesburg with Ntate Masipa, and I'm happy I'm seeing you here today. There's a land where we used to produce tea called Sapiko Tea Estate. Due to politics of tea, it's no longer working. It's now 20 years that estate is not working at all because there are farmers within the valley who are interfering or intervening, I'll use two terms, in the development of that farm. There are 40 farms that Makgoba people received, which are being put in a kitty in a dubious way. In a dubious way. Now, it is this portfolio committee that could solve the problem of that nation. That tea estate is 1,000 hectares, for instance. It used to employ more than 2,000 to 5,000 people. The local economy is struggling because of that estate. And we have been complaining to the government. Government, you gave people land. Yes, they might not have skill to use. But what are you doing? Because it's taxpayers' money that is being used. I'm out in terms of that one at the estate. I'm appealing to this committee to formally come to Makgoba's Kloof, come and let's address the issues pertaining to the land of Makgoba. And of course, we are feeding the whole nation. Currently, in the more than 50 farms, the Makgoba people have employed more than 7,000 to 10,000 people in some of the farms. So we cannot be like, we are not a force to reckon with. We need you there. Secondly, I support this bill. From the South African Communist Party, we support this bill. But be it as it may, I also want to touch on the issue of farm evictions. I don't know if you ever discussed farm evictions in Parliament. According to Leroux attorneys who represent farm evictions, I just want to give some statistics. From 1960, you can go and refer, up to 1983, that is during the apartheid era, 3.5 million black people have been forcibly removed from their land. 1.1 million were removed from the white farms. It's dirty huru for the black people. Now, since 1994 to 2008, the organization which I also am a board member and a director there, called Inclusive Development, you know about it. That is beside my political wing. We conducted a research on evictions since 1994, together with University of Western Cape Plus. More than 120,000 people were removed from the farms. More than 120,000 people were removed from the farms since 2004 to date. So we cannot romanticize politics of transformation. The other things I want to talk about is on the water use bill. Because we are dealing with land, you will also autobela like amazing. Now, who owns? I'm glad there's a bill, but it never came to us by this house, and the water use bill. I think it's trending. I don't know if agriculture are dealing with it. Now, 98% of the white farmers in the Republic of South Africa own the monopoly of the water use. They own the monopoly of the water use. So we cannot romanticize this thing. Some of the farmers block the water so that the black people in the villages may not have access to that. So it's a problem which we must deal with. I'm saying it to you. I'm also a son of the royal house in Makuba. I'm wearing many caps because of development. On the last note, yeah, I think I tried to cover almost issue of farm evictions, issue of the water use, issue of the Makuba people who, even today, there are 8 court cases, and I don't mean court cases in the magistrate, up to constitutional court, which the community is fighting amongst each other, but also the community is fighting with other farmers, which I may not mention their names. The community doesn't have money, but because of monopoly capital, people are funded so as to fight the community, destroy the community. Now, this is the correct platform. Hence, I'm saying, Papa Masipa and your portfolio committee, I said something about this in the past to you. Formally, we want to invite you to Makuba to delegate this matter. Thank you very much.
He can see le angayima la mahlweni I Michael Makuba na swona va huma le Makuba Skloof na so e tlhelo le rin'wani va khala va district executive mayor I xirho xa committee leyi tirhanaka na timhaka ta misava va khala va xirho xa South African Communist Party xo sungula va seketela na umbisi luwa kambe hambiloko va seketela va na swin'wana va lava ku swi vula no kombela xo sungula va lava ku rhamba komiti leyi yona komiti ya parliament ku ri yi ta le Makuba Skloof yi ta tivonela hi mahlo swo byeriwa vele swa hlupa va lava ku va ta tivonela loko ha ku nghena aka xidemokirasi ku ve na nawu wani wu nga pasisiwa wa ku ta va na misava leyi nga ta tlherisiwa vanhu va le Makuba Skloof va tlherisiwe misava naswona loko va nyikiwe misava leyi va kota ku ti tirhisela misava ya vona ku kota ku tihanyisa kambe lexi hlamarisaka namuntlha ku na hasahasa yikulukumba ngopfu kusukela ku ve na mhaka liya ya ku nyikiwa ka misava loko va nyika xikombiso loko hi nyika xikombiso xa hasahasa leyi nga ku humeleleni a ku ri na ku byariwa ka titiya kona kwale ndhawini ya kona, kambe sweswiwani a ka ha rimiwi tiya, a ka ha byariwi tiya, a ka ha xavisiwi tiya, hi ku ku na vanhu van'wani va nghenelela ngopfu no peta voko la a ku nga fanela kona. Loko va karhi va nghenelela hi ndlela yaleyo swi endla ku vanhu va le makhuwa va kota ku lwisana, loko va lwisana va tshika ku rima. Swi nga leswi hi kombela ku mi ta tivonela, mi ta nghenelela mi hi pfuna eka mhaka yaleyo. Ivi xin'wana lexi lavaka ku xi tshikelela ngopfu i mhaka ya ku hlongoriwa ka vanhu emapurasini. Mhaka leyiwa yi va ngopfu hi endlile ndzavisiso wukulu ku katsa na University ya Western Cape na vanghana yo hambanahambana eka tinhlahla ta vanhu lava hlongoriwaka emapurasini lembe na lembe. Va nyike to tala ngopfu, tinhlayo tiya ti kula, vanhu va ka hina va hluphisiwa emapurasini. Ivi xin'wana lexi va lavaka ku xi tshikelela ku tatisa eka mhaka yaleyo i nawu wa ku tirhisiwa mati. Ku na nawu laha tikweni wa ku lowu hlamuselaka ku mati ma tirhisiwa njhani, kambe lexi vilerisaka ngopfu i ku valungu na mapurasi yo tala ya vona hi vona va tirhisaka, va nga na timfanelo tikulukumba ngopfu no tala ku tlula vanhu lavan'wani ku tirhisa mati. Kombela ku mhaka ya ku tirhisiwa ka mati yi langutiwa, ivi mita le switlufu hi ta vulavula yona mhaka ya ku tirhisiwa ka mati. Inkomu.
Ke dumedishe leina la ka ke Michael Makgoba, ke tswa ke le ko Makgoba Skloof gona ka tsela ya R71. mme ga ke hlalosa gape gore leloko la SACP le gona ke boa gape le mathero mo šomišong ya tša mahu, mme ke rata parlamente gore go na le seemo ka mo lelo la Makgoba Skloof, mme ke seemo seo e leng se šorofetse seo se tlhokang gore maloko a komiti a ka kwa, gomme ka tsela yeo ke le mema gore le tle ka kwa le tle le tlo kgona go ka ahlahla le rena re leke go rarabolla bothata bjo bo leng gona ka kwa lefelong la Makgoba Skloof. mme ke boa ke hlalosa gore badudi ba ile ba fiwa mahu ukare ga setšo badi ba rena ba ipine ka tokologo. mme ke hlalosa gore go na le mathata kudu ka lefelong lela ka ge le gore re be re le batho bao e leng gore re bjala tee eupša gona jwale ga re sa tšwela pele ka mokgwa oo, ka ge le gore go na le borapolase bao e leng gore ba senya ditaba, ba tsenelela kudu mo mererong e ya go ka bjala ga tee. mme go na le bao e leng gore le bona ba filwe dipolase ka ditsela tšeo e seng gore ga se tša maleba, gomme seo se tloga se hlola mathata kudu. mme dipolase tše ke bolelang ka tšona ke tšeo e leng gore di be di thapile batho ba bantšhi kudu ba šoma fao, mme go tloga go na le dingongorego mabapi le seo. gomme ke tla rata gore ba mmušo ba tle ka lefelong leo. mme ke boe gape ke hlalose gore molaokakanywa o re a o thekga, mme re a o thekga rena bjalo ka SACP. ya tla fela fao, ke a leboga.
Thanks and greetings to everyone. The Chair, you must bear with me since I'm the first person to reject the bill. You must give me time. No, thank you. My name is Clifford Letswalo. I'm here. I rise to reject the bill based on the following reasons. The first one, the state must expropriate and be placed in the custodian of all agricultural land. And in manner of developmental, the state must lead the process of reforming the entire agrarian land economy. Security of China on agricultural land must be provided in the form of a medium and long-term lease of approximately 25 years. And this land use right will, however, be subjected to revision. If the land is left fallow and is not in use, the state can take it back and give it to those who are able to use it productively. So, giving an example, today our state doesn't have any mechanism to take back the land in case if maybe ZZ2 decide to close the farming and give it back to those who are willing to do the farming. The state must develop that mechanism of taking it back. The state must then develop other enabling mechanisms for the development and support of the agricultural sector in a form of support with input of resources, extension services, and marketing access. The state must also protect the industry against undue competition from cheap products from abroad, mainly from countries that support and protect their own agriculture. The principal position is that the agricultural sector cannot be properly developed without a direct state intervention. This will entail the creation of an agricultural development bank, the reconstitution of agricultural product marketing board, and targeted support to small-scale farmers in general. The state must also develop a policy to place a limit on the size of the land that a person may be granted land use rights. For an example, the majority of the land in Mopani is owned by one individual called Bertifan Zeil, because our state doesn't have any mechanism or any form of describing the size of the land that a person must own. So we're requesting that the committee must go and develop a policy that is going to control an individual to own a certain amount of land. Thank you.
Ke dumedishe le nna ka ke Clifford le tswalo me le tla ntshwarela ka ge e le gore ke motho wa mathomo go ba kgahlanong le molaokakanywa o me ke re go swanetše go bane le go dirwe molao o reng go swanetše motho a hirišetšwe mabu mengwaga e 25 gomme go bue gape go thwe ge motho a filwe polase gomme a sa e šomiše e swanetše e tšewe gomme e fiwe o e leng gore o tla e šomiša ka se sebaka mmušo ga ona mokgwa wo e leng gore wa o šomiša bakeng sa go ka tšea nako eo e leng gore e filwe motho gomme a sa e šomiše. Mmušo o swanetše o boe gape o hlole mekgwa yeo e leng gore o tlo thekga bo rapolase mabapi le go ka dira diphatlalatšo goba go maketa ditšweletšwa tša bona le go ka šireletša industry ya mo Afrika Borwa kgahlanong le diphadišano goba kgahlanong le ditšweletšwa tšeo e leng gore ke tša theko e fase tšeo di tšwago ko dinageng tša moše. Go tloga go le bohlokwa kudu gore mmušo o tsenelele mo go tša temo bakeng sa go ka aba thekgo yeo e nyakegago gomme mmušo o swanetše gape o hlole seo se bitšwago Agricultural Development Bank e lego panka yeo e leng gore e tlile go thekga bo rakgwebo potlana ka mašeleng mmogo le tše ding tšeo e leng gore ba di hloka bakeng sa go ka tšwetša pele mošomo wa bona wa tša temo. Ka se sebaka ka ge re bolela go na le naga ka mo lefelong la Mopani leo e leng gore ke la motho o tee fela e lego Bertifan Zeil gomme se se hlolwa ke gore mmušo ga ona policy yeo e hlalosang gore a e ka ba motho o tee o swanetše a bele naga e kgolo ga kaka. Ke a leboga.
Thank you. Chair, I think it's a request for correction. Mr. Michael Makhuba is a district executive member, not a mayor. My apologies. Lo anga imalane Clifford Letswalo. Sho hlamarisa no kombela ku ri mtshama xitulu kumbe loyi a xitekela nhlokweni i ku anga n'wi kumbe ku vona anga fana van'wana hikuva hi yena munhu wo sungula ka dyambu ra namuntlha loyi anga yimalani alana na nawumbisi loyiwani sweswo swi tiveni ku swa humelela I xidemokirasi mi nga hlamali ni yima laniwani ni yima ku alana na nawumbisi lowuwani ku nawumbisi lowuwani a wu tekelanga enhlokweni timhaka ta ku tekiwa ka misava yi tlheriseriwa endzhaku eka vinyi va yona hi lava va nga yi teka swi nga ri anawini hi tshemba ku loko a ko va na nawu lowa ku misava ya tekiwa a hi ta kota ku vuyerisa ngopfu vanhu va hina hi ku loko mfumo wo va wu teke misava kumbe purasi wu nyika munhu ivi munhu a khondla mavoko a nga yi tirhisi misava liya kumbe purasi liya mfumo a wu ta va na matimba wa ku wu fika wu teka misava liya kumbe purasi liya wu teka ivi ya nyika un'wana loyi a nga ta kota ku tirhisa misava liya a rima a endla swakudya a kota ku pfuna van'wana so hi mhaka ya ku ri nawu lowu a vuli nchumu hi nawu wa ku misava yi tekiwa loko munhu a nga yi tirhisi ku hava lexi hi seketelaka kumbe ku hi phusha ku ri hi kota ku seketela nawu mbisi luwa loko ha ri ka mhaka yaleyo ya ku mfumo wu hava nawu wa ku seketela sekithara ya vurimi hi ta kuma murimi un'wana a tirimela swilo hi ndlela leyi a lavaka swona ivi ku xaviwa swa yena ntsena ivi lavan'wana swavo swi nga xaviwi ivi hi mhaka ya ku ri a va na seketelo bindzu ra vona ra vurimi ri hodloka loko hi tlhelela ngopfu eka mhaka ya misava lapa ku nyika xikombiso mfumo wu hava nawu lowu lawulaka vun'wini kumbe mpimo wa vun'wini bya misava lowu munhu a faneleke a va na byona loko ho languta kwala Mopani kwala a kusuhi na le Tzaneen ku na ndhawu yikulukumba ngopfu yo tlula na tiko hi ku kula leyi n'wini wa yona ku nga munhu wun'we a ri yexe a nga aveli van'wana nkulukumba Van Dyk I teke tiko hinkwaro ri va purasi ra yena no va misava yena swi nga leswi lavan'wana va ta rima kwihi so hi lava ku mfumo wu va na nawu lowu kotaka ku lawula timhaka ta misava na ku loko u nga yi tirhisi hi kota ku yi tlherisela ndzhaku inkomu
Ai Lucy longa mama hlweni ka imlondovozi given mutshami wa kwala ward 19 kwala Nkowankowa mativa ku ri na tsaka mara na hlamala because we meet today we are here to discuss the issue of agricultural land but the question which we need to answer first is who owns this agricultural land we are talking about because we cannot come here and offer something which we don't have. Does the parliament have enough land to offer young people, the majority of young people, to do these things of agriculture? That's why we are here. You don't see young people here. Simply because the language which we are speaking here is not related to whatever they are facing every day on the ground. So, yeah. So the ownership of the land, we know it is still in the hand of the whites, mostly when we talk about this one of agriculture. So we can't talk of agricultural land as if like it's something which the parliament can come tomorrow and say, "Hurrah, take the land, go and farm." Number two, we need to acknowledge, most of our people don't have the right skill to work this land. So, we have places like Tibumbeni here, which I think most of you are aware of. Since me Sukela the way I punichum, why can't you convert that thing there? Kuriva a place where young people can go there, but nikwa the right skills while babar on the ground. At the end of that, kubana land linga tabi kwa mabokweni yabo, kwa by controller and then they work it. Because myself, I'm in total opposition with this thing of giving people title deeds. It's a problem to black people in general. Because when you take a title deed and give it to someone who has skill, the first thing I show here is, where is the next person who's going to buy this land? They are thinking of the next person who's going to buy this land. So all the land, agricultural land, it doesn't matter who the person thinks he is, must be owned by the government. Owned by the government, but controlled by the people. The very same way, logo usuka uya bank and then kumbuyeka VW, uka want to buy a car. They give you a car. If you are paying an installment, You don't own the car, you control it. You can take the car to Johannesburg. Yet, if you fail to pay for the car, we take the car back. In other words, if there's a person who owns more than a quarter of the land in Mopane, if that land is not being used in a productive manner, the land must be taken and given to who? To someone who's going to use it. No one must own land from Polokwane up until Pretoria, and then that land is vacant. Meanwhile, people don't even have land, they are residential. And yet we are here, we are discussing it as if like, no, look, let's talk about, what are we talking about here? Why are we wasting the state resources? There's nothing we're solving here, and this bill will be just another piece of paper which will be in hand, is going to be put there, and yet the practicality can never ever work. Thank you very much.
Inkomo given lo ngayima lanwani nasona uma eka ward 19 kona kwala Nkowankowa. Xo sungula mina nhlamala ngopfu ku ri hikwalaho ka yini hi ta laniwa hi ta heta nkarhi hi ta vulavula hi timhaka ta nawumbisi wa nhluvukiso wa misava ya vurimi. Hi vulavula hi misava yihi hi ri hava misava. Hikwalaho ka yini hi vulavula hi leswi swi endliwaka misava mara misava hi ri hava ke. So hi marito lama hi la ku sungula hi sweka rivaleni swi ku tlanga ndla ku ri na ala a ni pfumelelani na nawumbisi lowuwa. Ivi lexi xi endlaku ku ri ni alana ngopfu na nawumbisi lowu i ku mhaka ya misava kumbe mpfumaleko wa vona wu khumba ngopfu vantshwa. Vantshwa va hlupheka namuntlha hikuva va ri hava misava. Loko hi la ku tatisa ngopfu ka mhaka ya mpfumaleko wa misava hi vantshwa, ni lava khe ni tshikelela ngopfu mhaka ya mpfumaleko wa swikili exikarhi ka vantshwa. Vantshwa va hava misava va tlhela va hava swikili. Leswiwani hi swona swi endlaka ku ri va kuma va ri ku tirhendzelekeleni kwala mapatwini hikuva a va na nchumu leswi va xi endlaka. Ni lava ku mi nyika xikombiso sweswiwani. A ku ri na college ya vudyondzisi leyi vitaniwaka Tivumbeni. Vo tala van'wina ma yi tiva. Hi mpfhuka ku nghena mfumo lowu nga kona college liyani a yi le ku tleni ka nchumu. Hikwalaho ka yini loko ku ri ku n'wina mfumo lowu lavaka ku tisa ku cinca na nhluvukiso exikarhi ka vanhu mi nga cinci college liya ya Tivumbeni yi hundzuka Tivumbeni college ya vurimi. Ivi hi teka vantshwa va hina va ya kuma swikili. Ivi loko hi heta ku kuma swikili va nyikiwa misava hi mfumo ku va kota ku teka swikili leswi va nga swi dyondza eTivumbeni va rima hi swona va ta kuma rixaka. Ivi ni tlhela lava ku tisa mhaka ya vunharhu ku ri hina na lava ni nga na vona ro fana na vona hi alana ngopfu mhaka ya ti-title deed. Mhaka ya ti-title deed i vutsotsi lebyi mfumo wu lava ku ta na byona hikuva va ta teka misava va nyika munhu ivi mundzuku ka siku va jika va vuya va ta xava misava liya vona hi voxe. Loko munhu o va a ri na misava a nga ri na xikili a kha a twa ndlala i ta sungula ku hleketa ku misava leya mina ni nga yi xavisela mani ku ni kota ku hanya. Mhaka ya ti-title deed hi alana na yona to suka hi ra matshan'wini ya ti-title deed. Mfumo wu fanele wu teka misava misava leyi yi nga yi tekiwa yi va misava ya mfumo. Loko munhu a lava ku tirhisa misava i ta a endla xikombelo ka mfumo ivi mfumo n'wi nyika mpfumelelo a tirhisa misava liya. Na ku mi nyika xikombiso sweswo loko no ya a bank kumbe ka Volkswagen ni fika ni ku ni la ku kolota movha va ta ni nyika movha. Ivi loko ni fambisa movha lowa ni tsandzeka ku hakela va ta teka movha wa vona. A swi vitano ni le misaveni misava hinkwayo yi fanele va ya mfumo. Ivi loko munhu a lava ku rima a endla xikombelo eka mfumo ivi loko a nga yi tirhisi nchumu misava liya mfumo luya u teka misava yona ya nyika un'wana loyi a lavaka ku tirha. Inkomu.
Ke dumedishe leina la ka ke Londolozi Given ke tswa ke le gona mo Nkowankowa sa mathomo ke tlhalose gore ga ke thekge molaokakanywa o. Mme ge ke tla rata go botša gore ga botsebotse ge re gahlane mo re bolela ka taba ya naga ya temo a e ka ba naga ye ke ya mang na ebe mmušo o na le naga yeo e lekaneng go ka fa baswa. Gomme ke lona lebaka leo le dirang gore baswa ba seke ba ba gona mo kopanong e. Ka moka re a tseba gore naga e matsogong a ba bašweu gomme bontši ba baswa ba rena ga bana bokgoni ba go ka dira tša temo gomme go na le lefelo mo go thwe ke Tivumbeni ka moka ke na le bonnete ba gore le a le tseba lefelo leo bjale ke ka lebaka la eng lefelo le sa fetolwe gore le kgone go ka fa batho bokgoni ba go ka dira tša temo gomme ke boa gape ke hlalosa gore ke kgahlanong le go fa batho di-title deeds ka baka la gore motho go mo fa title deeds sa mathomo se a tlo se dira ke go rekiša lefelo leo mme ke re naga a ebe ya mmušo gomme e laolwe ke batho mme molaokakanywa o e tlo no ba fela se leng gore re no se ahlahla eupša o ka se bereke gomme ke re a re tlogeleng go senya ditirelo tša mmušo ke a leboga
Trovela minjani nda more ya ke a leboga. The one who's standing here is Senior Matita. I'm a South African citizen. I'm standing here as I love South Africa and everyone who's living in South Africa. So, one of my point is this one. Land is for all. Why I'm saying this? This thing of, okay, I will say, I agree and disagree to me is the same thing because both have agreed inside or agree. So the two speakers who were before me, they took everything that I wanted to speak, so I'll just add some of the things which I think they have left. This thing of title deed, I don't support it because it's something which it makes people to enrich themselves and it causes people to fight against these things of land and other things in South Africa. So what I was thinking this thing must be part of government to take part in this thing, to help each and every person who think it can able to manage the land. In which way? Let's say I want to have a title deed. Instead of having a title deed, let us take that person and put him as a management and have a certain condition so that he can able to run or not. If he anga endli, you kota kususa that person. Because I have a land. What about me who doesn't have a land? That's why I say a land is for all of us. Se government aingenelele yikota kupfuna ka swilo swa misava na kuva yo yi pfuna ku hi masayiti hinkwawo timali na kuva vatirhi va kota ku hola because then ka swilo swa agriculture varhangeri va hola mali ya ku tala mi kuma ku lava nga vatirhi va hola tisente se a swi ve na balance leswi monitoraka hi government ku ri hinkwenu as hi ri vanhu va misava hi va equal. Why ni vula so? Ni ve na privilege ya ku ni ze ni va na 7 years outside this country laha tiko ra ni hanya ka rona a ku ri na ku ringanana ende a ku nga ri na ku lwisana a ku nga ri na ku dlayana. So I kombela namuntlha ngo yaze mi tshame kwalano mi ri government ku nga vi ku va mi tshama kwalano van'wani mi endla nga ku mi type tifoni mi kuma ku mo va ku hweni mo chata because vanhu lava nga lava hinkwavo hi tela hi swi teka swilo swi ri serious a swi tekeke swi va swilo swa serious ku mi kota ku ya tshama mi swi languta hi mhaka leyi. Se loko government yi participate ka timhaka ta ku va yi pfuna vanhu lava nyikiwaka a ri se ku va timhaka ta ku dyiwa ka mali a ku ve timhaka ta ku government yi kota ku teka mali leyi yi kota ku supporta swa agriculture for tiko hinkwenu. Inkomu.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Senior Matita. I want to be two-sided. Support agree and disagree, to me, it's like the same thing as explained. But what I'm saying now is I do not support the issue of the title deed. I'm saying if the government was going to say they are the ones who, instead of giving somebody a title deed, but they give a person management position to say a particular person will be managing a certain activity and on condition, instead of giving a title deed. I'm also saying the government must be involved. They must be the ones who take charge of the finances of a particular activity, to say that the salaries and all the needs of the people who are given a particular land must be controlled by the government, so that there can be equality of some kind, and to avoid the issues of killing each other. And in short, I'm saying that our members who visited us, I can see them, at times they look like they are busy with something on their phones, but maybe they are just chatting. We are here for serious business, so let us proceed with the serious business that we came here for. And thank you.
Ke a leboga, leina la ka ke Sino Matita. Ye nngwe ya ntlha e le gore ke rata go di tšweletša ke taba ye ya gore naga a e fiwe bohle. Naga ke ya rena ka moka bjalo ka badudi ba Afrika Borwa. Bjalo go dumelelana le molao ka kanyo ya goba go se dumelelane le ona e yo ba ntho e tee, mara ke rata go ema fa ke re ga ke dumele ga botsebotse le ona molao ka kanyo ka kudu ka ge di boleditše malwa tše di sa tšo bolela pele ga di tšere mantšu a ka di boletše dintlha tše dintši tše le gore ke be ke rata go dintšha bjalo nna se le gore ke rata go sepelela fa ke gore ga ke thekge taba ye ya di-title deed. Taba ya di-title deed e hlola dikgohlano le dintwa bjalo ke be ke re mmušo a e be ona o e leng gore o swara naga gomme ge go ne le motho e le gore rata go šomiša naga o dira kgopelo go mmušo gomme motho a filego a adimilwego naga yewe a bitšwe gore ke yena motho e le gore o laola naga yewe ka ga nakwana o ena le gore re mo fe title deed. Bjalo bjale ka ge ke boletše ka re naga e swanetše go fiwa bohle. Re ka se thabele maemo mo e leng gore go ne le batho ba bangwe ba e le gore go ne le naga ka fase ga maina a bona eupša wena ga gone karolwana ya naga e le gore ka e šupa gore ye ke naga ya ka gomme ke rata gore mmušo o ka o tlhokomele ntlha yane uwe o netefatše gore go ba le kabo ya go lekalekana ya naga go badudi gomme ke motho e le gore ke ile ka dula lefelong le lengwe ka ntle ga naga ye ke bone go sene dikgotlhano le dithulano mabapi le taba ya naga gomme ke re mmušo a ko tsenelele gomme o netefatša gore ga gone le dithulano gomme o thege le batho ba e le gore ba filwe dikarolo tša naga gore ba kgone go di šoma. Ke leboga.
Khozo yemi gumo givele mina shogani ugwa ward 34 kiyemi gadase a project ya letsitele agricop ili na molimi wa go lema mabele kana go mabele kana go ya go lema merogo ke na motho wa go lema merogo le ka ne na gwa newe drimo glimile fiale ka mo ga re ga drimo re lema ka yona re a daisega drimo ya rena ke 2 hectares le hectares je nne ka mo re ga drimo re daisa ke dikhomo di tsena ka gare ga temo re gašitše mabele tša tsena tša ja ra gaša dikhabiši ra gaša di-green beans diperefere dikgomo di a tsena di a ja bjale ke re bolena le fologile go kwa gedimo le dile o le rejego mo fase o tswane dillo ja barwa le barwedi ba dile go pele go lena le ba bijenta le re bojeletše le di thokago a rena fence re a lema a rena metsi ya go tšheletša le nakwane ewe re lemile mogero o tshenyegile metsi a canal a boela nokeng ye kgolo e bitšwa go le tšhirele digašwa je re gašitšego go na metsi ya go di tšheletša bjale ke re bolena le thegole le dile mo fase ke gale ba ke theoga ba kheta fase ba kheta ba ke re boje ba re bojene re a boja ba ke boela morago ba ngwadisitše ditikete tša bo bona ba boela morago ba ile go golela malapa a bo bona rena re sala re ba lebelete a re bone diphetogo ke je re ka tsona ka gare ga temo ene ka kwa gare ga temo ke apa go yona re daisegile re khareje nna ke nna yo mongwe a bokomiti bja bona ke moramadoto a bo bona ba re bija ba re dane ka mono re ke fita kwa re go bela komiti re ke fita re khumana ba di goloi ja makakapa ba eme ba re do le diela temo le re diela bjane ka re temo e kolomakile ke borena re khumane mere ya go lekana le ntho re ithisitše motale ke do re diela bona re do batela keng ba ra batela ka sega ke mongara ja re boela ne morago re do boja benye masimo re boya morago re boja benye masimo ba re a wa re ka se khone a re khareje ga bagabe go da ba bangwe ba di goloi je dinyane ja di private ba re dilo ja temo ewe le dilo ja temo bjane ka nna temo se ya rena go dio ba rena beta bile ba bo bona e re ne re boela morago re ba boje re boela morago re a ba boja ba re a gana re the mmusho re molelene nna e dana le re phe mangwalo a maleba gore ge ba tšhoba ke fita re ntšha mangwalo re ba bontšhe ke mo re ka khujao ka gona ka re gana re thiba ka matsogo a re na ntho re ka thibago maphodisa a ke tšhabene ka thunya re na re a tshwara kelo ba dilo fetša ba re diele ba ba šweu ba ne dipolase ba khalabile ba khegode ba dogolo ba bo bona ba sate ka re ga dipolase tša bogogo a bo bona le rena re nyaka gore ba dogolo ba borena le ditogolwana tša borena ke da sale ka mo polaseng ya borena e tla le re fa mangwalo a maleba re a lo go bela le fa ja mengwaga poso ka mokgwana le dugule le ambona na ke tshufate ke tsere 70 something ka no senkhumana ke moka ngwana ka dolo me ya mogatši polasela yaga re a ke nna ke a lo go bela e dane le re fe se ka bila re sia mangwalo re a bile mabotsong a ke fita o re mangwalo a go sia bogogo le ba ba shou ba sadela dipolase ja bogogo a bo bona ke a leboga
Greetings, my name is Velemina Shokana, under the Sitele project. I am a farmer. I am a maize farmer, but during seasons where maize do well, I plow maize, and then during seasons where vegetables like cabbages do well, I switch into farming vegetables. And then we have 2 hectares of land, but we have some challenges that come with this piece of land. We have cattle that that destroy our crops. So we need some fence, and also we do not have water. We need some irrigation systems so that we are able to water our crops. So we are being abused by leaders in the agricultural sector. They visit us with their big cars and they threaten to take away our fields. And some of them come with their small cars and they also make the same threats. And we would like to call on to our government to please intervene, please give us something, or maybe in a form of a letter, so that when they come, we show them those letters to say, no, our government says you cannot do that. And then one other thing is that white people, white children inherit farms from their great-grandfathers and grandfathers. So please help us with something, a sort of a title deed, so that when we are still alive, so that even our children can have something to inherit, and some proof of, some sort of proof to show, to say, this belongs to me. Thank you very much.
Akensa vitora mina ni vele mina shokani wa ku maka project ya hala valitsitele ndi n'wamapurasi nda rima na mina ndina tihekitara timbirhi hi minkarhi yo tala ndi va ndi byala mavele, kambe swa endleka leswaku se minkama yin'wana ndi ti byalela matsavu. Hi na xiphiqo xa swifuwo ngopfungopfu tihomu leti ti taku ti nghena ti dya, kutani ke hi ku a hi na fence hala tlhela hi na mati na system ya ku cheleta a yi kahle kahle. Kutani ke hala tlhelo lerin'wani ya karhatiwa hi lava va nga na swa vona, va ta hi timovha ta vona ta ku saseka, va yima kokwalaha va hi byela ku ri va lava endhawu leyi ya hina, va lava ku hi tekela ndhawu leyi ku a hi na maphepha. Xikombelo xa hina ka mfumo kumbe eka ndzawulo i ku ri a va hi nyiki maphepha lawa ya nga ta va komba loko va ta, hi va humesela hi va komba ku ri hi na maphepha ya ndhawu leyi. Leswi swi ta hi pfuna ku ri hi hlayisa ndzhaka ya vana va hina, ku ri na vana va hina tanihi vana va mabunu na vona va nga siyeriwa ndzhaka, na va hina va yi lava ndzhaka leyi va nga ta siyeriwa yona. Ya khensa.
Thank you very much, community.
Ya khensa vamatiko.
In the Setswana words, they say the words, I mean, the words said in the government, in the gathering, leads to better developments.
Na tshemba hi Xitswana va vula tani ku ri leswi nga ta huma eka huvo hi leswi nga ta yisa mahlweni.
Now, re boletse ha re simolla hore ha re feta mo tsamaiso e tla ba eng go fitlhela bile ba molao.
As we already outlined, processes that are going to be followed after the sitting before we can get to a point whereby this bill is enacted into a law.
Tani la nga vula ku loko a sungula ku ri mhaka leyi nga ta yi endla laha ya nawumbisi yi ta famba tani kutani yi fika la yi nga ta hundzuka nawu.
Re ilo tlhotla submissions tse di lebagane le morero o neng re o tletse mo ka letsatsi le.
We are going to challenge the submissions that we received here today that were made with regard to the business of the day that we came here for today.
Italanguta le matsalwa na hinkwaswo leswi mi nga hi nyika swona leswi hi nga va na swona namuntlha lani leswi ku nga ntirho lowu a hi tele ku ta tirha wona.
Tse ding tse di builweng mo masipala ya rona e teng, puso ya rona ya province e teng, puso ya rona ya bosetšhaba, the office of the minister is also here. Batho ba botlhe bao ba ikarabelang mo matshwenyegong a mang a boletsweng, ga re ya re boela go batla tshwanna ko gore ba lokise kapa ba arabele matshwenyego a lona.
And other things that have been raised here, Renali Kantoro ya province, Egona Far, Kantoro ya Bosichaba, Le Kantoro ya Tikulu, ya Silagai, Baona, Le Kantoro ya Tuna Baona, Romeki, one of the Lord, but Lord Chili, which Lord Trilogy, but Lohan, Fajor by the Arabella.
Hinkwatu timhaka leti ti endleka kolani ti ta fambisana na tihuvo kumbe tindzawulo leti ti khumbekaka. Ndzawulo yin'wana leyi nga kola yi ta swi kota ku va yi hlanganisa timhaka leti hi nga vulavula hi tona kutani va ta mi tlherisela tinhlamulo.
Ka jwalo ke batlo leboha batho ba botlhe ba litlileng mo pitsong e le nkileng karolo either ka ho bua ka go ngola kapa ka go mamela.
So I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who hit a call to come and to this gathering, and also to all those who made their submissions, either in writing or in spoken form. Thank you very much.
Nitsakela ku khensa hinkwavo lava nga va koho, lava nga kota ku fika, lava va nga kota ku tisa mavonele ya voho hi ku tsala kumbe hi ku vulavula.
Ntate ola wa rona wa agriculture wa local committee, you should have seen baahi ba rona ba ntseng ba lla ka sela le sela, ga o ba ka go bona wa kgona go nka di particulars, but re a tseba gore ha le le mo le le basebeletsi ba mmuso le lona le a ngola gore le kgone go lla mathata a batho.
And I would also wish to call to the representative of
Mr.
Mduduzi. He's the one in charge of the agricultural issues. And I hope that as you were sitting here, you could hear what people had to say, and you will be able to respond to what the people have had to say.
Tsakela ku ramba tatana Mduduzi ku nga vo lava va nga muyimeri eka ndzawulo hi leyi hi vulavulaka hi yoho, va swi twile swirilo swa vaaki, kutani ke ha tshemba hi vo va nga ta va na ndlela yo kota ku hlamula swin'wana swa swirilo leswi vaaki va nga na swona.
Ke tshwere tsibiso ya gore ga re tswa mo go tlo etsagalang, mare ke ne ke re ka re butse ka thapelo ele ya rona ya pina ya bosetšhaba, re ke re eme ka maoto go kwalla ka nako e.
I have a notice on what is going to follow after we would have closed the meeting, but I would like us please stand up and let us wrap it with the national anthem.
May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with all of us now and forever. Amen. Bagolo re kopilwe hore re tsebise hore dijo di teng tsa batho kaofela. Ala tlhalosa.
Hi kombele ku mi tivisa leswaku swa ku khomisa nyoka ku nga swakudya